Hey guys, Brian here. I recently wrote a long post on Quora about how to choose the best women's boxing gloves. And I just wanted to put together a quick video and a quick audio file so you can just have the summary, the gist of my thoughts and my post in case you're too lazy to read. So the first thing to consider is the type of practice you're going to do with them. Are you going to competition with your gloves? So if you're a total beginner, you might avoid competition, maybe. Are you going to do a lot of sparring gloves in case you will want very convenient gloves to put on? Sturdy too, because you're going to practice a lot. Bag gloves will be need to be sturdier because you're going to hit them pretty hard on the heavy bag. And like same thing, aerobic gloves will be much more they need less resistance because it's going to be much more funnier training, right? Like much more cardio moves than real fighting and combat situation. It also depends on the discipline. So all of us who have seen like enough UFC fight know that MMA gloves don't look at all as like Muay Thai gloves. So MMA gloves will give you exposed fingers so you can grab your opponent, and you will have like a stronger wrist wrap to make sure they don't slip off your hands while training. On the opposite side, the Muay Thai gloves, for instance, will have extra padding. They will be a bit more thick because you want to be able to absorb the energy that a kick will provide. So you will find differences in gloves between disciplines. So if you're looking for like generic boxing gloves, most of us will think about the old school English boxing. But if you're going to do some MMA fighting in that, like just don't go in the cage with them. You're just gonna get grabbed and you won't be able to do any type of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or grappling with those gloves and your finger encased in them. So you also want to choose your size right. So most brands will give you fitting tips and sizing charts. So you will be able to print some kind of paper, put your hand on that, and determine which type of size you want. But past a certain size, gloves will be marked with ounces. And the thing to consider is the more ounces there is, the more weight you're going to have at the in your hands. And this will do two things. First of all, ounces provide padding, right? So this will give you additional protection. It's going to be smoother for you to get hit in those gloves, which will act as your main line of defense, right? If you can't dodge a strike, you're going to just have to dissipate the energy that the strike will provide. And ounces equals padding equals a way to dissipate this energy. Second thing to consider is that it's extra weight, and this weight will provide you with a stronger workout. So at the end of a long training session, if you have like very heavy gloves, your shoulders are going to be burnt. And this is really interesting to build up stamina and endurance. One last thing is the compartment sizing. So in the lower in the lower sizes, you will have less space for your fingers, and you just want to make sure you have a snug fit, right? You don't want to be too loose in those hands, too loose in those gloves, but you also want to have enough room not to be compressed in case you could create injuries. So I included a quick size chart depending on the activity and the type of gloves. For instance, like MMA gloves don't have like the ounce rating, but there's some kind of equivalence with this chart, though I just put it together, and you should be able to have a quick reference guide, or at least you will know where to start. Finally, there's like the choice of materials. Again, as a beginner, and if you're not sure you want to stick with boxing, you might want to choose like some poor quality gloves. So you would probably go to some vinyl gloves with like that cheap padding and maybe not that sweat resistant. resistant. But if you're getting serious about that, leather gloves will last longer because you can really take care of them with oil. For instance, mink oil is pretty good on tan leather. It looks really great. The foam padding will be like mashed a lot, like it will be compressed, it will be heat. So you really want to have that good quality foam padding. Make sure that it keeps its shapes, it keeps its properties, and especially for the protection. And the sweat resistance is really important. Like after the first, I'd say 4 or 5 sessions, you will have sweat a lot inside that glove. And even if you have straps and undergloves, like a bunch of sweat will be inside your glove. So you really want to have something that is bacteria resistant and sweat resistant, because otherwise it's gonna just smell like a dead animal inside the glove. And finally, the hooking system. So how you close them. Again, as a beginner, you will start with Velcro. It's just much more convenient. You can put them together. Like you can put them on very, very easily. Even with mouth guard on, you just have to just pinch and just put it on. But hook and loop and like those good old lacing gloves are looking really, really good. So if you have a training partner, and especially if you want to have a very snug fit on your wrist, it's a really, really good choice. But again, as a beginner, go for the convenience. Don't hassle yourself with very complicated systems. Quick recommendation brands: we really like Clitoris, Winning, Grant, Rival, and Ringside. But again, you might find like a ton of different brands out there. Just try one on, see how it fits, and just make sure that you get those key principles right: convenience, a good fit, a strong, a snug fit, because you don't want to leave too much room for imprecision or worse, injury. And there's plenty of brands out there. Especially as a beginner, you should really worry about the discipline of the practice, understanding the principle of boxing, and have like convenient gloves. Like it should be easy to put them on, and they shouldn't be that smelly, because the smell could be disturbing. Anyway, so I wrote a complete post on Quora. Someone asked how do I choose between women's boxing gloves as a total beginner, and I wrote like a big ass post on that. And because I'm doing research for a brand new website that's coming up pretty soon. So let's I'll keep you posted, but have a look at the Quora answer if you want more information. So just go to Quora, type in the search box, how do I choose between women's boxing gloves as a total beginner, and you will have the full detailed post answer. Thank you, and see you soon.